So you did mention a minute ago that you had built up an account up to like 100,000 coins. So the question I had in my mind listening to you was, what were you doing before you got into trading? Like, how did you really even get to the point where you got the advice? And talk a little bit about that to me. And I had another question I want you to kind of think along with this, is like your mindset, your philosophy as a trader going into it, so like what
I got you. Okay, let me give it a shot. So before I was trading, I met what I was doing before I was even trading was just full on running a music studio here in Century City. And on top of that, I was a freelance software developer, just a guy that has many different digital technological skills, and I was doing a whole bunch of everything and just kind of like making ends meet, right? I had my time, right? It was my own, but it wasn't to the extent where I could enjoy my time because I was making just enough to get by. That's what I was doing. But I had my time, so I was very content. I was like, I have my time. All I need to do is keep on pushing. I'm gonna get a breakthrough. And then I met Yoshin at the studio one day. Came in, and what had happened was he booked a couple of sessions, and every single time he came to the studio, he would always buy food for everybody that was there. And that was like the turning point for me. I was like, damn, I just want to be able to do this for my friends. Like whenever I'm around them, all I want to do is I just want to be able to provide if they can't. Like,
that would be nice, bro.
I mean, I do that all the time. What are you talking about? So that was the thing that got me. I asked him, yo, bro, could you please teach me about what you do? And like, yeah, I'm just really curious to learn. And yeah, he was kind enough to introduce me to some people, and was chilling with him at his place. And eventually I met David here. And when I heard David's story, that's when I was like, flip, can I learn from that guy? That's when I asked you, can he teach me? I think that I will get along well with him. And yeah, I'm sure David will explain his story to you.
How did you get into trading?
So I started I briefly entered with spotting in 2021. We mentioned it earlier with XRP. But I'd say I only actively traded about 10 months ago, 9 months ago. Yeah, fairly noob trader, but I just spent a lot of time learning from people who I looked up to and admired and thought were knowledgeable. I didn't have much, man. I did not run a studio before I started trading. I was actually bartending, and I was walking to work. I'd have to walk like 30 minutes, and I'd have to take a change of clothes because I'd be so sweaty by the time I got to work. And I really enjoyed bartending. It was fun. There's a creative element to it, but obviously it wasn't bringing in any cash. I mean, I think in US companies, US businesses, bartenders can earn quite a bit, but yeah. I then decided I was gonna give this trading thing a go. I think I was out for someone's birthday with the ocean as well. And I think I'd been saying no for a while because I've heard all the negative stories about crypto. But I figured, you know what, it's not like choosing the safe option was.
It was working.
Yeah. I think something clicked where people think they're risking nothing by going to their 9 to 5 or like
But you're
their
giving
job.
up your time.
You're giving up your life.
Yeah, that's what
to
you're
service
risking.
another company, to make another company rich. All you get, you work for the salary that you both need and hate at the same time because it doesn't do enough, and now you're dependent on growth, so you give more to this company and get exponentially less.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, with trading, the more you give, the more you get. So
Literally.
It's an honest relationship. And so I started. I had 500 Rand to my name, and I got a loan of like 2K, I think 2 weeks into my trading. because it was just like trading this 500, making some profit, but having to get more crypto, and it's just
a headache. I can
yeah,
imagine.
it was such a headache. I just figured I might as well just, you know, I've got a client, I should just get capital somehow. And that's what's great about Quick Trader again, because if I had this back then, it wouldn't have made a difference at all. If I would have had clients. So yeah. Another thing would be like, I think the power or just the feeling that comes from being able to actually provide for the people you care about.
Yeah.
Obviously, just being yourself in other people's lives is enough, but
it doesn't always feel the best. Like
No,
when
no, it
when
doesn't.
You can't take someone out, like
Yeah.
a special someone.
100% like your mom or
Like literally that. Wait, didn't you say about? Didn't you have to do? You also had to do something for your mom. when
yeah.
you
So
just
my
started
mom
trading?
lost her job.
Yeah.
A couple of months into me trading, and so we all had to kind of like pull our socks up and figure out a way to navigate this.
And trading
because-
really helped you to like, just like.
Oh yeah, man, so much. I would not have been able to do it, you know.
Yeah.
Mixing
Yeah, yeah.
drinks. I don't know where we'd be.
I was actually just before I met Yoshin, right? I was on the verge of having to leave the accommodation that I was at, right? Not knowing what the heck I'm gonna do, where I'm gonna go. Like always, you can go back to your family, right? But when you're a grown-ass man, you don't wanna go with your tail between your legs back home and like come to mom, come to dad. In my case, it's my grandparents because they raised me. I didn't want to go back home. I wanted to do something for myself. And fortunately enough, after doing all of this trades and stuff like that, and actually building my account, somehow it just lined up just so perfectly that by the time I left, right? By the time I left, I had traded enough so that I had 100K in my trading account to trade with, and I also had extra money to move into an unfurnished apartment, right? Not like empty.
It's just so empty.
And we
man.
furnished that apartment in less than a month, right?
and an office space, man.
And I have a freaking office space of my own. Like all of that came from trading money. I had no savings at all. Now I have investments. This is now after 4 months of trading, hey? Just like 4 months. Well, basically this is the 5th month now.
I also like something similar with Marcelo and I. I grew up in Athlone. Marcelo grew up in Mitchell's Plain. So we didn't even come from like money or even safety. Like, so for me, where we're staying right now, it's like such a safe area and stuff. It's not, I think anyone who stays in Cape Flats or, you know, areas that have crime and stuff, understand, or maybe don't understand, but can relate that, like having the freedom of wanting to clear your head and going for a walk. Like we have our own space in a safe area in Cape Town. That's crazy that we're able to do that.
You can literally just take a walk in the morning alone, walking with your phone in your hand, and you can take a walk to the mall like 10 minutes away. Yeah. And it's perfectly fine.
I think we're pushing it a little bit still, like, you know, if you're still in Cape Town.
Not too early, but like maybe when the sun has risen.
Okay, so for myself, I think my trading journey is, you know, a bit different to everyone else. So I didn't suffer from the things that you guys suffered from, I'm gonna be honest. I won't say that it was easy for me though. Life wasn't necessarily the easiest. I will say that trading did help me a lot to get to where I am now, in the sense of my studies and so forth, which is quite expensive. And a lot of the money that I've made throughout my trading, it helped me to actually, you know, I think things that people take for granted is that when you have a dream, it's very important to actually fulfill your dream. I mean, a lot of people have dreams, they start their journey towards that dream, but they never really complete it, whether it be financial reasons, whether it be motivation, a lack of it, or whatever the case is. And I think that motivation that you need to complete your dream is the same motivation you kind of need to actually trade. Because if you don't have the motivation, you don't have the dedication to do it, it's not for everyone. I mean, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. I mean, you guys went through your journeys. I will tell you straight that, or you can even tell them, it wasn't necessarily the easiest journey. Yes, it was successful, and that's great. But it's not easy. There's a lot of hard work that you need to put in, especially in the beginning. And I mean, like I mentioned in the start of the video, is the fact that, like, I mean, I've been trading for 8 years. And I feel like if I started later, it would have probably been the worst decision of my life. The nice thing that I think for myself about trading is I look at a lot of my friends from when I was younger. A lot of them followed me, like when I started trading. Like I mentioned in the beginning, like years back, trading was looked at in a very negative way. But I look at it and I think to myself, like, I've always been this entrepreneurial person where I would always try to better my lifestyle. And trading is one of the things that did better my lifestyle. Like you guys mentioned, it freed up a lot of time for you. I mean, it's not necessarily that you need to, free up all your time in order to trade. There's times in the day where you could still be doing what you're normally doing and you could still trade. So it doesn't necessarily need to take up your whole life, which I don't think it did for me. I still trade every single day. I maybe don't trade the same volumes as what you guys trade, but I still trade every day. And without that trading, I don't think I would have been able to start a lot of things that I try to do. Like I mentioned, I'm a very entrepreneurial person. I've started so many different businesses and so many different things. It doesn't mean I'm starting it for long term. It might just be for something short term. But where I get my capital from was from my trading. And everything that I've ever invested, I've gotten back. So all my money that I've personally invested into trading, I've lost money, we've all lost money, but I've made it back. And I wouldn't have been able to make it back without the determination. Yeah. And that's what trading teaches you, is that if you can't be determined in what you're doing, then it's not going to be easy. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's not going to be easy. If you're going to be determined, which is something that I always am, is like I'm a very determined person. So if I start something, I want to finish it. Or like in the sense of trading, you never really finish. So for myself, I think majority of my things that I did with trading was to build my capital so that I could build my future, so I could complete my dreams.
Dude, you should tell them what your dream is, like what you're doing, what you studied.
So I'm in the aviation industry. So my studies was to become a pilot. It was always a dream of mine since I was a kid. I was like 11, 12 years old. It was always a dream of mine. But as probably most people know, it's not very easy to get into. It's very expensive. So, not the average person can't always do it. But I wasn't going to let that stop me, I was always going to find a way. Like I mentioned, in high school I was trading. I was doing some form of, whether it be Forex, whether it be crypto, whatever it is, I was finding a way to build my capital because I wanted my dream to come true. At the moment right now, I have all my qualifications, I've completed my studies. So I've completed that first step in one of the milestones within my dream. So I'm not there where I need to be, but I will get there. Yeah. I will get there. And I don't think that I'll never get there. If somebody had to ask me would I ever stop trading, I'd say no, because it's proven itself over time. And because it's proven itself to me, I see no reason why not to. Yeah. So that will be something I'll always continue with. I think for me, my main thing is when I speak to people about trading is it's a dream that you have. You want to accomplish something someday, you want to have something somewhere, whether it be a car, whether it be a house, whether it be just buying yourself a t-shirt, Not a lot of people are able to do that. Not a lot of people also have extra funds to, just to give out. But the nice thing about it is, like even the type of trading I do is, when I mention things like spots or when you guys mention P2P, it's the fact that you're taking what you're able to give out, but it works. And the fact that it shows that it works for many people, again, I'm saying it's not something that's easy to do, but when it works, push it, because it can be beneficial for you and it will be beneficial for you. It's not necessarily for everyone, but it will help everyone. Yeah. If you can get into it properly and you know what you're doing and you understand the fundamentals of it, it will help you. Yeah. And I think that just that point of it alone is something that's worth getting into. Like I say again, you have a dream in life and you have to find a way, one way or another, to accomplish your dream. A majority of people suffer from accomplishing a dream because of finances. Yeah, and
dreams need capital, bro.
Dreams need capital. Even if you want to start a business, you need capital. So, like, just that fundamental part of the fact that you need that capital, it's something small. You don't need to, I always say, everyone always says, we need a lot of money to trade. You don't. You can start with nothing.
Especially with Quick Trader. You won't need any money to start.
You can literally start with nothing.
Yeah.
But you can get somewhere. Yeah. It can start with networking. You guys all mentioned it before. Yeah. It can start with networking. I could have nothing, but I could know people who have something. Yeah. And I could network between the three of you. And somewhere in there, it could be beneficial for me, and that's where I start my gains. And you just grow from there. I always believe that my main motto in life is that growth always has to be exponential. You know, there's no money without growth. In order to grow, in order to make money, you need to grow as a person. And whether it be in your own space or whether it be in your financial space, I feel like when you trade as a person, or as a person who trades itself, or who calls himself a trader, has a different perspective on life. Because as you guys know, it's not always ups. There's ups, there's downs, but you make it work. You become resilient. It teaches you as a person to not let certain things just get you down, to break you out of it. You'll find a way to become resilient, and you bounce back. And I think that's what trading teaches people. It's the fact that even in life, look at both of you. I mean, you mentioned from the fact where you guys grew up. I mean, I have family that grew up in the same areas. My parents grew up from the exact same areas and worse. And I look at it and I'm like, the only way you get out of that is by becoming resilient. And that's what you guys proved to be.